everybody. It's great to see you guys today. My name is Ollie, okay? My full name is Oliver Bailey, but only my mum calls me Oliver. Nobody else calls me Oliver. Just call me Ollie today, right? If you want my attention, you say, Oliver, and then I will turn around, right? But call me Ollie, and I'm going to be working with you for the next couple of hours. There will be a short break in the middle, okay? I know teachers need breaks, so I'll work my way towards that, and we'll be looking to finish up just about 11 a.m. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is thank VUS for having us here today. This is a fantastic facility, and also, you know, VUS and Oxford University Press, we've worked together for a long time. You've used our materials in your classes over many years. We really appreciate it. Right, so I know that many of you don't choose the materials yourself. I've been in that position, right? I know what that's like. But we are a department of the University of Oxford, and so, you know, OUP materials that you purchase, a part of that goes back to the university. We invested in scholarships, education, publishing. So your business means a lot to us, so thank you very much. So our topic today is going to be vocabulary and stories in the very young learner classroom. So I just want to be clear with everybody that my focus will be on very young learners. Now, as I was circulating, most of the teachers I chatted to said, okay, I'm teaching primary, right? I was asked to talk about very young learners because Little Blue Dot, which we'll talk about, is focused on the very small kids. So we're talking 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 6. Now, if you're not teaching very young learners yet, okay, it's a huge growing skill, and there's ever increasing demand for education for the very small kids. So even if you're not teaching them yet, you're here because you will, I'm sure, be teaching with Little Blue Dot. If you're also teaching primary, what we're going to look at today, the activities, transfers up and down between primary and very young learners. They are different, but you'll be able to adapt what you see. Okay? So I think that's the first thing for me to say. Okay, now I'm breaking the golden rule of workshops, which is don't put too much text on a slide, right? But I'm going to put this here because I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay, these are my goals for today. Just like lesson planning, you need goals. The main things are in red. We're going to focus on vocabulary and stories and moving students from single words to chunks of language. We're going to look at using stories with very young learners. Okay, so we want to get them speaking in a natural sounding way. We're going to think about how we can introduce the structures in different ways. And in the second half, last 30 minutes or so, we're going to look at those stories and how we can integrate them into our classes with very young learners. We're going to look at different ways to do that. Okay? And I'm going to be providing ideas and activities which you can take away and try. Okay? So you will need your smartphone today. Okay? We might use a bit of technology. Can you show me your smartphone? Yeah? Okay, great. Okay? Make sure it's on silent mode. Okay, now we're in Southeast Asia, so show me your second smartphone. Okay, one for work, one for wife or partner, you know. Okay, make sure that's on silent mode too. So, we will use a little bit of technology today. Does everyone work with technology? Half the time it just fails, right? So, but we'll see how we do. Excuse me. Okay, so this is my plan for today. I'm going to do an introduction. We've got a couple of hours. We've got time for this. Then we're going to look at Little Blue Dot. I was told that today I'm not going to spend the whole session looking through the book. In this section, I'm going to give you a brief introduction. Just how is it organized? Where do you find stuff? So that you have an orientation. Then we're going to go into vocabulary, stories, and at the end, I will summarize. Okay, so let's start with an introduction. And like any good teacher, I want to make sure that I have everything the way I want it. So today, we're going to do some activities together. Okay? You are busy teachers. I'm starting to lose my voice. That's a bad sign for a teacher. So, because we have 70 or 80 teachers here today, when I do an activity with you, when I want you to stop, I will use the silent signal, which is a technique for large primary classes. I used to teach 35 kids in a room in Japan. Let me show you how we do it. Okay, so what you will do is, if you're doing the activity, when you see me do this, you immediately copy me. Let's try it together. 100% participation. Congratulations. Okay, great. So, the reason we do the silent signal is I don't want to shout at my students. Okay, I don't have a voice all the time. So with young kids, if they do this, the silence will spread around the room naturally. And you know what kids are like, right? There's always one kid who's like, oh, teacher, shh, and they make each other be quiet. Okay, so classroom management is very important, and it's very, very important with the smallest kids. So you are not children, but please forgive me today if we do things at a very simple level. Okay, the second thing is, I have expectations for you today. Okay? Okay, my expectations. What do you think this image means, number one? Shout at me. Yeah, pay attention. Also maybe participate, right? Okay, let's make this time fun and effective. Participate as much as you can, mentally and physically in the activities. Number two, any ideas? Collaboration. Thank you, sir. You're a champion. Yeah. So I want you to work together on your tables. We're all adults here. I'm not going to force you to work together, but let's work together and share our ideas. Number three, reflection and thinking. Thank you. Reflection and thinking. So I want you to think today. It's really, really important. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, to illustrate reflection and thinking, we're going to start with a warm-up activity, okay? And then you will try it. Okay? So here's the activity. I'm going to call my assistant, Matt, to the front. Give Matt a round of applause. He's my beautiful assistant today. Matt works for Oxford University Press in Vietnam. He's our full-time trainer here, and he'll be helping me out. Okay. So, Matt, if you'd like to come to the front, please. Find that space there. Okay. Maybe we're good here. Okay, so this activity is called name swap. Name swap. It's very simple. You're going to start off in a pair, and you're going to say your name and something you like. Okay? And you're going to shake hands. For example, and then Matt will answer. For example, my name's Ollie. I like steak. My name's Matt. I like board games. Okay, then you're going to meet somebody else. Watch carefully. My name's Matt. I like board games. Okay, now when Andrew meets somebody, what will Andrew say? Yeah, so every time you meet, you swap your name and what you like. Okay? Alright, so let's try that one more time. And Matt will meet somebody. Hi, my name's okay. My name's Ollie, I like steak. My name's Matt, I like board games. Okay, now when Matt meets somebody, what will he say? My name's Ollie, I like steak. Exactly. Great. Thank you very much, Matt. Okay, so this is your opportunity to move around. It's not, I know we're at tables, I'd like you to meet as many people as you can in just 1 minute. Now you're teachers, right? This is so easy. Alright, I want you to remember the name and what they like of the last person you meet. Not everybody. Okay, just the name of the person and what they like of the last person you meet, okay? Are you ready? Are you ready? Yes. Okay, stand up. Wait for it. Okay, stand up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, 70, 80 people. Took me about 10 seconds to get you guys to be quiet. So that's the silent signal. Not all kids will respond that quickly. Okay, we know that's true, but it's a start. Okay, everybody, have a seat. Have a seat. You know how it works. Okay, very good. Okay, so we were talking about reflection. Okay, here's what I want you to do. In a pair, I want you to work with a partner. So today, when we do pairs, I will use a chant to set up the pair. Okay, so often use chants. And it goes like this. Make a pair, make a pair, make a pair. Put your hands in the air, in the air. Make a pair, make a pair, make a pair. Put your hands in the air, in the air. And you touch the hand of your partner in the air so I can see everybody's in a pair, right? Got to do this quickly because we need the class to keep moving. So I'll sing the chant, and when I do, I want you to put your hand in the air and touch the hand of your partner. Don't be shy, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Don't be shy. If you can kind of put them close to each other if you're uncomfortable, all right? All right, here we go, let's try it. Make a pair, make a pair, make a pair. Put your hands in the air, in the air. Make a pair, make a pair, make a pair. Put your hands in the air, in the air. Okay, very good. Now some of you are making threes, so we could do this. Make a three, make a three, make a three. Like a tree, like a tree, like a tree. Make a three, make a three, make a three. Like a tree, like a tree, like a tree. Okay, very good. Okay, hands down. Okay, we're going to look at transition chants later. The Young Learner Classroom, very young learners, is all about planning and moving smoothly between activities, right? So transition chants will help you do that. Now what I want you to do in your pairs, please discuss the name swap game. Would it work with your, if you teach kindergarten, would it work with kindergarten? Why or why not? And how would you change it? Now, if you don't teach kindergarten yet, just think about 4-year-old kids. What are they like? Okay? Just going to give you 1 or 2 minutes to discuss. Would the name swap game work with kindergarten kids? Why not? What would you change if you want to make it work? Okay? Your time starts now. So discuss in your pair. Okay, awesome. I can already see some people's hands are kind of halfway up. Oh, we've done that already. Give me another activity. Okay? All right, good. So, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get Matt ready, but would anyone like to share what you discussed? Don't be shy, we're learning together. Okay, this is a safe place. Would anyone like to share your discussion very briefly? Yes.
We discussed that specifically at that level that it would be too difficult There's too many words, too much going on. We decided that it might be better to have a single word, either just their name or something that might know, like colors.
Yeah. Exactly. Thanks very much. Let's give this gentleman a sticker. Ooh, hey, big spender. Yeah, okay, got a sticker. All right. Okay, so, yes, that activity as it is too difficult for very young learners, right? Or most very young learners. Okay? However, with a little bit of thought, you can easily change it. For example, each student has a flashcard, and all they do is say the color and exchange it with somebody else. Okay? Very young learners, it's got to be physical as much as possible. That means prepping a lot of materials. Okay? But the reason that I did this activity is because today I need you guys to reflect. You are the experts in your classrooms at the US, and I am not. So what will work? What won't work? How would you change it? Okay, that's the genius of teachers. That's real teaching skill. And I'd like you to have that mindset in today's session. Okay, that's not going to work. But if I did this, it might work a little bit better. Okay? And often with very young learners, you're going to take activities that might work with primary, lower level primary, adapt it, make it easier and simpler. Now for those ideas, okay, you might need your smartphone. Does everybody use QR codes? Sure, okay, if it doesn't work, don't worry. But just very quickly, okay, there's a QR code on the screen. Maybe it won't work at the back, and this will take you to a survey where I will ask you a question if you are a member of the Oxford Teachers Club. Okay, don't worry, it's not a free prize, so if you can't do it, don't worry. We're going to go and take a look and just do a quick survey. Okay? I will also put it up on the screen. Okay, so, all right, let me present that. Okay, so I'm going to use Mentimeter for my polls today. I'm going to use Mentimeter. Let's do this. Okay. All right, so let's see. So I asked, are you a member of the Oxford Teachers Club? Let's move that. Okay, we've got a few people still coming in. We're going to use a little bit of technology now. Okay, so the reason I do this is, yes, I work for Oxford University Press. Okay, 11% of you saying you're members of the Oxford Teachers Club. 78% saying no, 11% saying don't know. Okay, the Oxford Teachers Club is a free club for teachers around the world. It's completely free, and you can find thousands of downloadable kind of activities, ideas. You can type in, for example, Easter and get worksheets. After this session, in the next few days, we will send a PDF version of the slides, which will include the links. You don't have to take photos of every slide today, or everything you see. But I do want to encourage you to check out the Oxford Teachers Club. When I started teaching, there was very little like this. Okay, but there's a lot of free resources that we can provide for you if only you use them. So we will use your smartphones again later, but check out the Oxford Teachers Club. Okay, I'm going to move that back here. Okay, all right. Okay, so the other thing that I'm going to do today is I'm going to ask you to reflect and think about your goals, okay? Now I'm going to use Padlet for this. Padlet is a very effective tool for teachers, okay? It used to be completely free. Now you get 3 free Padlets, but you can write them. A Padlet is a digital whiteboard on the internet where you can post images, links, like little post-it notes to share your ideas. I found it invaluable over the years, and I want to share it with you today. It's not made by Oxford University Press, so please use at your own risk and follow whatever guidelines the US has for you. But I'm going to show you how it works, and then you will have a go. So I'm going to put the Padlet on the screen here. I'm going to move it over. And basically, we're going to go to Padlet. You'll use a QR code, and you'll click the plus button. You'll open up like a little note like this, and you're going to answer the question here. Okay, for example, I want ideas. If you want to add something else, you can. You click publish, and it will be added to the wall. It might ask you for a nickname, just give a nickname. Don't need personal information. No phone numbers, please. Okay? Alright, so let's put this up on the screen, and I'll just give you an example so you can see. Okay, so here is my Padlet. It's at padlet.com. You can't go there yet. Okay? I've got these two columns. The first question today will be, what are your goals for today? All right? I want you to think about a couple of goals that you have for this session. You will click the plus button here, okay? And then you will type into this kind of post-it note here. I can't spell, I'm under pressure, okay? And then you click publish, okay? And there it appears in this column, right? So we'll share what we want to learn about today, and at the end of today, you'll come back to this. Okay, so I'm going to put the link, the QR code on the screen, and let's see how we do. Okay, so let me move this away. Okay, so get your smartphones ready. Here we go. Now, if you can't do it, don't worry about it. The main thing is that you know about Padlet. Head over to Padlet. Let's see if we can get a few people answering that question. What are your two goals for today? Your two goals for today. Drink free coffee. Get activity. Okay? Looks like most people are there. So I'm going to switch to the Padlet. Okay. Okay, now Padlet does have moderation, but I'm going to trust you guys today, all right? If there's any bad language, it's not me who's embarrassed. Okay? So, hopefully everybody's there. I'll ask Matt just to circulate. Thanks. Now there are options to add photos, add links, but don't need to do that today. Just want you to publish a couple of things to think about. Okay, and I'm going to put this on the screen now. Okay, so you can see that these are starting to come in now, right? Okay, so we've got to learn how to teach stories effectively, learn new activities for classroom management. Okay, things are coming in, which is good. Don't worry about grammar, spelling. Have fun. Dapper Bear says have fun. That's fine. Learning through play. Okay, the Polite Platypus says, improve my teaching methods. Okay, good, a lot coming in now. Good, excellent. Now I've put this in a section format. You could also have it so they just appear randomly all over the screen, which is kind of cool too. But, okay, now as you're doing that, again, everybody, I want to put some responsibility on you guys today to take your notes, think about these two goals that you have as you go through the session, and then we'll revisit at the end. Okay. So I think most people are there, so we can revisit those later. Okay. Okay. Now, some of you earlier said that you're not teaching very young learners yet. Okay? But you need to think about very young learners today quite a lot. So this is a nice quote. A great teacher is a habitual student of his or her students. Do you agree? Okay, I hope so. Some people, maybe. Okay. The more you know about your students and how they think, what they do, what they like, the better a teacher you will be. So, very young learners, this is especially true of very young learners. Even if you don't have small children of your own, or you haven't taught them before, thinking about them is really important. So, I want to give you that opportunity. So, All right. Make a pair, make a pair, make a pair. Put your hands in the air, in the air. Make a pair, make a pair, make a pair. Put your hands in the air, in the air. Okay, you're very good. Usually there's at least one guy who goes, oh my God. Okay, all right. Well done, everybody. Okay, what I want you to do is, on the piece of paper, there are like 3 pieces of paper on each table, I think. In your pairs, grab a piece of paper, and I'm just going to give you 1 minute to think about this question. What do you think are the characteristics or needs of very young learners? If you don't teach them yet, just guess. If you do teach them, share your knowledge. Please discuss and write down your ideas together on your piece of paper. Your time starts now.
Senior leadership usually sits at the back and makes trouble. No writing, I notice. Brainstorming first. So these guys, make them work hard. Great. Okay, yeah, great.
All right, 20 seconds left, 20 seconds left. Okay, so we've started to think about very young learners. I'm working you quickly today. Okay, so would anyone like to share a characteristic or a need of very young learners? Matt is at the back and he has stickers. Okay, there's a lady in the black jacket there by the door. Yeah, just give me one.
Alright, so we've been talking about the characteristic of the very young learners, and we came up 4. So the first one is the very young learners have very short attention span.
Good, stop. Sorry, I want to make sure that we get a couple of people. Did anybody else say very short attention spans? Yeah, the shortest attention spans, right? We're going to think about what that means in a minute. Thank you. Okay, and the gentleman here in the white shirt.
One thing is kids are very curious.
Yeah, curious. Do you agree? Okay, good. Excellent. And the gentleman here? How about this? Okay. The gentleman in the white shirt. Movement, yeah. Is that's a characteristic of them and they need it? It's both of those things, right? So a lot of movement. And the implications are quite profound for your classes, right? High energy, a lot of movement. And let's do one more. On this side, yeah, the lady in pink.
I think the student, very young learners, they're very moody. Like cry in the morning, but like laugh later, so moody.
Yeah. So they can switch on, right? They can be really happy, and then, oh, teacher. Yeah, very moody, right? Mood swings. They don't have emotional control. Okay, good. Now, I'm going to challenge you guys. Let's see if you got these, but I'm going to make it a little bit difficult for you. Okay? I'm going to ask you in your pairs to unscramble these characteristics. Go. Need coffee. Okay? In your pair, if you get 5, put your hand there. Okay, when you get 5 in your pair, put your hands up when you get 5. Anybody got 5? Anybody got 5? When you get 5, put your hand on your head. Hey students, let me give you a fun word scramble activity. Alright, okay. Nobody yet? Nobody yet? Okay. Would you like to see the answers? Yes. Okay. Alright, here we go. Okay. Compare these with your paper. Compare with your paper. You get it? Yes. Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Hands-on learning. Or as we say, okay? And repetition. I thought everybody would get that one. Repetition, yeah. And finally, okay, they are imaginative, and active learners, yeah. Okay, very good. All right.
Excuse me, sir. How can a one learning, sir?
Sorry?
How can a one learning, sir?
Is it wrong? Congratulations, give that man a sticker. Well done. Okay, teachers make mistakes too. Right? Okay. Right. So the point here is, everybody, the serious point here is, okay, some of these characteristics you will recommend, you will recognize as similar to your primary students, right? So there's a lot of crossover. But with very young learners, it's much more of these things, right? You're going to need a lot more repetition. You're going to need to do probably more play. You're going to have students going to have to go hands-on more than you might expect. So, before you get into your very young learners classes, think about what they're going to be like. If you can, plan your activities accordingly, right? You're going to need repetition, activities changing every few minutes sometimes, right? So as a teacher, okay, what I call a back pocket activity, you need back pocket activities which are ready to go, which you can use anytime. And in the teacher's material from VUS and from Oxford University Press, there's lots of ideas for that. Okay, now, what I want to do for about the next 10 minutes is, as I said, give you a quick look at Little Blue Dot. It's not my goal here today, and I was not asked to spend a lot of time going through the book. We're going to focus on vocabulary and stories. Instead, I just want to give you like a primer so you can see how it works. So, one of the big slight differences about Little Blue Dot is the way that it's organized. So let me ask you, in young learners or very young learners classes, what kind of topics or vocabulary groups do you often find? Colors, toys, yeah. Good, okay. All of those kinds of things, okay? And usually, of course, a unit is just organized by a topic, okay? This is the colors topic. This is the numbers topic or lesson, okay? So, one of the things that we're doing in Little Blue Dot is we're starting to introduce something called learning with concepts. So you'll notice these 3 topics here they can all be related to the concept of communication. Okay? So, greetings, feelings, classroom language, all of these things are related to communication. So in the little blue dot, the book is organized around these concepts like communication. And then it has lessons and units just like you'd expect. So the one thing that I want to just make you aware of is that it's organized like this. You've got a kind of a concept for the whole module. Then in each unit, you will focus on some of those related topics, and at the end, students will reflect. Now, we're talking kindergarten. Kindergarten students are not going to sit down like Rodin's The Thinker and reflect on this topic. But this is how the units are all joined together. As a teacher, the main thing is, okay, it's still, you've got your units, you've got your lessons. So this is called Let's Talk, this is our module, and in here there are 3 units, and each unit has 10 lessons. 10 lessons, 1-page lessons. Okay? So, you will be very familiar with this if we take a quick look at Little Blue Dot, and I'll give you an example, just so that you have a sense. You will have a student book and activity book. Okay? The students will have a student book. Activity book is like a workbook. Inside, we talked about that module, for example, communication. It opens up with 2 lessons. Students explore the idea through images, and then they think about themselves. Small kids know about themselves, right? And they will do that using characters like Lara, Jake, Ava, Mo, and the dragons Spark and Ash. We'll take a look at them later. So really nice, cute characters, which we'll talk about. When you get into the main unit, this is a unit, I said 10 lessons. The main thing here is each page is a lesson, and you'll have guidance from VUS, a PowerPoint lesson plan that I'll show you, which steps you through everything that you need to do, and that's based on OUP materials as well. So, introduction, game, this is going to be the 4 vocabulary items. Repetition, game here. Phonics, so that we're practicing our pronunciation, and then a story, which we'll look at later. The story practices all these things. So it's building up step by step, okay? And then at the bottom here, we have values, numbers, a song, always using songs with very young learners, and to finish it off there, the explore lesson. Again, guys, don't get hung up on the amount here, because 1 page is 1 lesson. And then finally, to bring everything together, a project and a review. Those students need repetition, you told me that, right? So repetition, recycling, using the language in many, many different ways so it sticks with them. All building up. That's how it all flows together. Now, the final thing I'll say on this is after the main units, you have the module closer. Basically, again, these are standard lessons, giving the students the opportunity to think about this topic, to do a project. This is a simple bird feeder project, okay, and to put their language into action, and we have more stories. So lots of stories today, that's why we're going to talk about stories. But again, just to dip in, as teachers, you have everything you need. Lesson plans, materials, structure, and a syllabus that builds up so you can do what you need to do. Now, in terms of those materials I mentioned, okay, there are flashcards, puppets, story posters, and working with the VUS team, these are all downloadable and printable from your system. We've given all the electronic data to VUS, and that includes all the videos, the songs, the audio. It's all there for you to use. And as I'll show you in a minute, VUS the academic team have prepared these lesson plan PowerPoints for you, very step by step, which is what we need with very young learners. Okay, I'll give you a quick look at those later. Do you currently use a classroom presentation tool? It's like a digital book. Do you use one of those at the moment on the projector? Raise your hand. Okay. If you use a classroom presentation tool, give me one finger this way. If you don't, two fingers. Put your hands in the air. One finger. Okay, so a lot of people do use it. Okay, that's fine. So Little Blue Dot has one of these, so you can project the book onto the screen. It has all the songs. Just click the song, click the video, click for an extra game. It's all embedded in there for you. So you can go digital and heads up, right? Okay. And speaking of video, okay, just like primary students, very young learners love video. Okay, it really gets their attention. We have videos throughout the material, 4 videos for each unit. Stories, songs, concept videos, okay, all ready for you to go. You can see some examples here. And then one of the things that I really like about OUP, I work here, is we provide a lot of support for teachers. As a former teacher myself, okay, so from the teacher's material, idea banks, loads of different activities all designed for very young learners for you to try out in your classes. So some of you saying you haven't taught very young learners yet. Okay? Let the material be your guide and pick up some of these activities from the teacher's material that is shared with the VUS, from the VUS lesson plans and from your colleagues. Okay. So just a very quick tour. And just to reassure you, okay, as a former teacher, changing materials is stressful for teachers, right? You've got your ideas for your current material, you're going to use something new. Okay, that's not an easy time, but to make it as easy as possible, the VUS academic team have provided PowerPoint plans for each lesson, broken down step by step, and I'll give you a couple of examples later. So what we're going to do is we're going to start to work our way through this material. So today we're going to talk about vocabulary and stories. And we're going to start with the vocabulary, which comes in lesson 1 and lesson 2. You don't have books with you, don't worry. I'll provide you the information that you need. But the key thing is, this is an example of the VUS PowerPoint plan. And you can see for the lessons, it includes the language, the objectives, each section and how long it should ideally take you, and for each section, the activities that you will do. I'm not going to go through all of it today, but for example, when we look later at presentation, video, the VUS PowerPoint has a before activity and a while activity and an after watching activity for you to do with your students. So it gives you everything you need. But one of the things that I've enjoyed about working briefly with VUS is the team was very clear with me. They want you to also add your own ideas, add your own spin, your twist, what works for you. So I'm going to provide some more ideas for these different sections for you to try with your students. So the material is there, and what I'm going to do is, as I say, give you a couple of extra activities to kind of build your toolbox, build your toolkit of ideas. Okay, so let's look at warm-up activities, and we'll also look at the video, and then we'll also look at the drilling, and that's where I want to focus today actually, is on drilling the vocabulary. But in your VUS PowerPoint, it provides, in the warm-up section, lots of different ideas for you, with links to material for you to use on your whiteboard already, which is fantastic, by the way. I think this is a great example of supporting you in the classroom. But I want to show you a couple of different things to add in here, and we'll try them out. Okay.
So, do you use songs in your classroom?
hello song that you use. Right, okay. Now, as your students go through the material, you might want to expand with something like days of the week. Okay? We don't expect them to know all the days of the week, but we can still have fun with it in a song. Okay, so I need a table of 4 people to help me. Oh, everyone's like, oh, anyone want to help me out? Matt has stickers. Stickers, anybody? Okay. Oh, great. Okay, this gentleman. Okay, we'll take this table. Okay, you're in trouble, buddy. You're in big trouble. Okay, come here. Okay, give. I can't call them volunteers, but give them a round of applause, everyone. Okay, so we're going to do a Days of the Week song, which is very simple. You don't have to remember anything apart from Days of the Week. Okay, all right. So just like kids. So in Days of the Week song, okay, we're going to use a very simple chant by caroling Brave. Have you ever done jazz chants? Not jazz hands, jazz chants. Okay, if you could ever find a copy of jazz chants, get it. Okay, it's out of print now, it's on the book. So it goes like this. We're going to be in a circle of students. Okay, let's make a circle big and round. Let's make a circle big and round. Let's make a circle big and round. Okay, very good. Okay, now we're going to face this way, so we go this way, and I'm going to do the chant. It goes like this. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, to help you remember it, maybe you can do it too. Gestures, okay, here we go. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah. Okay, so just to combine movement with vocabulary and songs, we won't expect very young learners to remember all this language, but again, anything we can do to provide some variation in the classroom is a good idea. Okay, so another idea for this phase is in the small talk section. These are some ideas from the US about asking questions, okay, to the students as they come in. Okay. Recently, a big idea is to encourage students to explore their emotions, right? So students will learn the language of emotions. Can you tell me some emotions vocabulary? Happy. Okay, you guys are going to have 2 modes, happy and sad. Hungry, tired, okay, great. Yeah, excited, thank you, yeah, exactly. Okay, so a nice idea here is a traffic light share. Okay, basically we have our traffic lights, you cut them out, okay, print it off the net, and then with the students, okay, we're drawing something. Okay, what do you think this is? Oh, okay, yeah, so angry. Very good, yeah, angry, sad, happy. Okay, so when I was a teacher in Japan, we always had the same routine. Good morning. How are you? I'm fine, thank you. And you? I'm fine too. Right, that kind of thing. But let's provide some variation. So in this idea, near the entrance to your classroom or on your whiteboard, you can have your traffic light share. And as students come in, okay, they can just tap how they feel today. Just tap. Just tap. Just tap. And as they're coming in, okay, young kids, okay, it could be random, but it gives them a chance to express themselves. After you learn the emotions language, they can say tired or happy, sad. Okay? And also, you remember the students are very emotional. Okay? You could get an early sense from this when a student is angry or sad. Okay? So just something to switch up at the beginning of the class. Now, I don't know about here, but in most of the countries I've worked in, you can no longer hug or touch kids, right? So this is one way to get a sense of their emotions, just understand what's going through their minds. Okay? They won't get it immediately, but we can also practice the vocabulary like this very naturally as they come in. All right, we're coming into a break. So, I've been using a couple of songs, and in the very young learner classroom, you need to be comfortable using chants or songs. Even if you don't like singing yourself, ideally a CD is fine, MP3 is fine, but a very important technique. Many of you said that students, they have short attention spans, right? So, unlike an adult classroom, we have to manage the flow of the lesson. So when I finish one activity, I don't have time to push all the little kids into the next activity. I need to transition them from one activity to the next. The space between the activities is really important. One way you can do this is with transition chants. A transition chant. A transition chant is a way of managing students very honest from one part of the lesson to another. Okay, I'll give you an example. So I used this one earlier when we made a circle. Right? Let's make a circle, big and round. Let's make a circle, big and round. Let's make a circle, big and round. Everybody, please sit down. Okay, let's try that together. Put your hands in the air. Okay, all right. Let's see if we can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's make a circle, big and round. Let's make a circle, big and round. Let's make a circle, big and round. Everybody, please sit down. Okay, now you try it. Hands in the air. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Let's make a circle, big and round. Let's make a circle, big and round. Let's make a circle, big and round. Everybody, please sit down.
Yeah, very good. There are lots of examples of these. Okay, I'm just going to show you one more for the end of the lesson. The end of the lesson. It's time for us to go. All right? Teacher's favorite time. Alright, okay, here we go. Listen carefully. Can I remember the melody? It's time for us to go. It's time for us to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's time for us to go. Got it? Okay, show me your wrist or your wristwatch. Let's try it together. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's time for us to go. It's time for us to go. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's time for us to go. Very good. Excellent. So that's the end of your class. And there are others. But the point here is moving these very young learners from one place to the next, one phase of the lesson to the next, right? And even if you don't know transition songs yourself, with very young learners, they're fine with anything you make up. Doesn't have to be the song. Make a line, make a line, make a line. Okay? How do you think I feel as a 51-year-old man doing that in this room? Okay? But it's that attitude of helping the students transition from one thing to the next. You don't have to be a great singer, right? But with very young learners, you need a bit of attitude, a bit of energy, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I was asked to give you a break. Okay, we've been going for an hour, so I'm going to give you a 5-minute break. Okay, I know you will take longer, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Okay, and after 5 minutes, let's say 5 past. Okay, 5 past 10. Then we're going to look at the vocabulary. We're going to explore techniques for vocabulary and storytelling. But I thought I would start us off today with the structure, thinking about the lesson opening, and after this break we're going to dive in. Now I believe there was coffee or drinks. I think they're outside. I don't know if they're still outside. Maybe it's all been drunk already. But what time do we start? 10:05. Okay, everybody, thanks for sticking with me. Give yourselves a round of applause. I'll see you at 10:05. Be free, be free. All right, let's begin. Okay. Okay, some of you are like, no. All right, great. Okay, so we're gonna go in the second half now, and I'm gonna work you faster now, okay? As we start to look at vocabulary, structures, and stories. But in the first part, I wanted to give you some ideas for that entry part of the lesson, okay? Because when you're using your VUS lesson plan, I think the best thing that you can do is you've got the activities that the academic team will put there for you, but what else can you insert at each stage? What is an activity you like? Something you know will work with your students. Okay, so adding that in and mixing it up is really important. Okay, so we're going to think now about vocabulary and moving students from single words to chunks of language. Okay? Now, we're going to have to use a lot of repetition to do this, and I'll give you a little bit of theory as well. Okay, but I'm going to ask you to keep up. So, all right, so as I showed you in the lesson overview, we're going to start with an introduction. And the introduction might be a big image like this, okay? This topic, the lesson is about my face. This is a one-page lesson, and you'll find instructions at the bottom, just a little bit of guidance for the teacher. Okay, but you'll be using, again, your PowerPoint or your teacher's guide. So in the introduction, the students are going to explore this topic. Okay, so we might ask the students to look at the picture and make the face, all right? So, everybody, I'd like you to make the same face as who I point to, okay? So, this one. I think you guys will just look like this normally, maybe. Okay, good, okay. And how is this? Is she happy? Okay, how about this one? Beautiful smile from a beautiful girl. Yeah, okay, good. This one? Yeah, exactly. Happy? Okay, yeah. So there's lots of ways for you to explore this image, and you will use also a video as well, which will give you more information. So, as I said, you can download the video, and the video will have lots of examples of students being happy, images which you can relate to, audio, and so on. So you can use the video to introduce the topic and to explore it. You can stop the video. Okay? Child is happy, stop the video. Happy. Play the video, stop the video. I'm not going to go all the videos today because I think there's a better use of time. But I said earlier I would show you the VUS support that you'll get. So this is the presentation. This is from the VUS PowerPoint, okay? And for each step of the lesson, for example, after the students have explored the picture, they're going to use a video. The lesson plan includes before watching activities for you, as well as questions for you to ask and answer, okay? And background information about how you might expect the students to react. Now, these are very young learners. Many of them are not going to answer these questions, but you're exposing them to the language, right? Very young learners, we were just talking about this in the break, some of them are in their silent period. They don't want to talk, they don't want to engage. You can't really make them. The best that you can do is understand them and deliver a good lesson as a professional educator, and over time they'll probably come along. This is, again, an example of the support that you get in the lesson plan. So you've also got while watching. Here's an example. Okay? And I'll just briefly show you an example of the video so that you can see the kind of material you'll be working with.
These children are happy. Bubbles.
Okay, so let's see if I can do that. So again, just to give you a sense of the video. Okay, so a lot of people chuckling and laughing, which is fine. Okay, but the nice thing is these are really nicely done videos that carefully match the content that you're using in the book. So that whole video is examples of students being happy, enjoying themselves, for you to pause and interact with. And that multimedia component is really, really valuable with very young learners. Other examples from the support that you get after the video. Okay, there is a listen and repeat activity that's embedded there for you in the PowerPoint where students will repeat the emotion. For example, happy. Again, it's all there for you, right? So a wonderful job by the academic team with a lot of support for you. And you'll finish off with a flashcard review, and then you'll get into the practice phase, and this is where I want to go. The practice phase is actually the second lesson, where we're going to introduce the vocabulary and a simple structure. And we're going to practice this together. Okay? So in this lesson, we're going to be focusing on emotions, right? You can see them here. And students will trace, okay, they can trace to improve their hand-eye coordination, and we'll do an activity together with the students. So, in the support from your team, you've got suggested drilling activities. These are different kind of drills you can do with the students to get them repeating the language a lot, which is going to be really key, right? So we're going to look at drilling vocabulary. I'm going to think about moving from individual words to structures to chunks of language. And why is this important? Okay, because many of you said repetition was important. Students are forgetful. Okay, one of the most effective ways of learning vocabulary is deliberate practice, memorization, drilling. Okay. Learners need to use the language in meaning-focused output. So what this means is we can't just drill happy, 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 sad, sad, sad. What we really want is a good quality of vocabulary instruction, a good quality of activity. What does that mean? The greater the number of encounters, the more likely learning is to occur. Not guaranteed, more likely. A lot of students meeting the language. Okay? The deeper the quality of the encounter, what does this mean? Students are not just repeating like a parrot. They're using the language in a meaningful way. They're using the language in different activities and situations. They're experimenting with the language. That adds quality. Technical term here for the vocabulary, right? So this is why we don't only want repetition, okay? We want quality, and that comes from extension activities. This is Paul Nation, very, very well-known vocabulary expert, and I highly recommend you check out how vocabulary is learned. So in practical terms, when we use English as native speakers or speakers of English, we do all these different things. We don't just say the word, we ask questions, we answer questions, we tell each other information, we talk to each other. And so, we need our students to do the same thing as much as possible. Right? With very, very small children, you're going to have a strong focus on repetition, and so that's why drilling is important. And today, we're going to use flashcards. Okay, I'm going to assume that everybody is using flashcards, right? Raise your hand with a 1 if you do use flashcards now. Okay, great. Okay. Okay. Somebody's got 5 fingers up. I'm not sure what that means, but I think it's positive. Okay, good. All right, so you are probably already flashcard experts. Flashcards work extremely well for the reasons you can see here, but there are also some downsides to flashcard drills, and so we need to think about how we use them, because with very young learners, just like primary, we're going to use them a lot because it's effective. Okay? Flashcard drills are one method of instruction. Okay? We don't only do flashcards in drills, but they're one part of the instruction, and they get us on the road to using chunks of language. Okay? I'm going to come back to this hopefully a little bit later. Okay? So, a simple technique which was given to me many years ago by a well-known children's author is the MAT approach, M-A-T, model, action, talk. Model, action, talk. Let this be your guide. You need to model the language, you need to add an action, and then you need to get the students talking or using the language, right? And of course this is true for primary and for other ages too. So we're going to look at model, action, talk. Okay? And so we're going to take a three-step approach to our flashcard activities. So I'm going to model an activity for you. Okay, so I've got my flashcards, right? But you can't see them at the back. So I'm going to work with the screen today. Okay? So there are three steps that we want to think about. The first step is the introduction of the vocabulary itself. And you are the model, right? So we're going to take vocabulary from the particular lesson, then we're going to use it in a structure or a sentence, and finally, with some language, we will ask a question. In lesson 2, there's no question at the moment, but the principle still applies. Vocabulary, sentence, question, model, action, talk. So let's start with the vocabulary. Okay, so I'm going to put some vocabulary on the screen, and I'll show you a drilling technique that you can use. Don't try and write. Okay, let's just try it together. Okay, so first of all, it's going to be teacher, then student. But I need an action, I need a gesture. So, can you show me a gesture for this motion? How does he feel? Sad. Can you show me a gesture? Okay, many of you like rabbits. Is this rabbits or is this tails? Okay. Okay, show me your sad, everybody. Okay, good. Good. Okay, let's do this one. Sad. Sad. Okay, you're going to be my students, all right? So it's going to be, first of all, imagine I'm using flashcards. It's going to be teacher, student. Okay, let's do it together. Repeat after me. Sad. 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 Very good. Emotion. What's this one? Happy. Happy. Can you do that for me? Happy. Very good. Repeat after me. Happy. 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 And this one? Angry. Okay, very good. Do this one. Angry. Angry. Okay, angry. 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 Very good. And the last one? Tired. Tired. Okay? Tired. 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 40 minutes to go, everybody. Alright, good. Okay. So, step 1, teacher, student. Let's move on. I will do it again. Okay. This time, students, 3 times. Okay? And then I say again, 3 times. Alright, let's try it. Show me the gesture for sad. Okay, here we go. Sad. 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 Again. Sad. 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 Again. Sad. 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 Again. Sad. 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 3 times louder. Sad. 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 Very good. Okay, so I'm going through the flashcards. Okay, now student to teacher. All right. So you go now.
Show me your gestures. Sad. Okay, so student teacher. Okay, let's try one more time. Sad. Happy. Okay, remember guys, this is student teacher. Okay, right, this one? Angry. Tired. Okay. So, how many times have we said the words? Many, a lot of times, right? You're getting the sense for the repetition? Okay, we would call this like a 6-second drill. You want to go quickly, you want the energy level high, so students are engaged with you, right? Okay, so we've got that process. You can also do, but not today, negatives with flashcards. Okay? For example, sad, angry, happy, not tired. What's the difference? Card is upside down. Okay? So there are different ways that you can use flashcards, but the main thing we just talked about is that repetition. So, we're going to model the language. We always use gestures. We have multiple stages of drilling. So the students are using the language many, many times. And then, depending on the lesson or what you're teaching, you can introduce the sentence. For example, so what was this one? Happy. Okay, show me the gesture for happy. Good. I'm happy. Very good. So now we've gone from the vocabulary to the grammar structure, right? So we've already gone from just being a parrot, starting to put the language together now, okay? And the end step, depending on what you're teaching, is a question. Okay? So for example, I might use this one. Okay, I'm happy. How are you? Very good. So now I've introduced a question at the end of this process. And students have given me an answer. And I'm not trying to explain sentence, question, grammar, question. I'm just using the flashcards and a process to get the students to use the language. So this model action talk is a good way of thinking about how to get the students to do high repetition, introduce a sentence, and maybe a question. So we go this way, vocabulary first, then whatever the grammar is, and finally, if you need to do a question as part of the process, you can use a question. But it's all about the energy and the cards, right? So flashcard drilling, this is where we start very rote repetition, okay, and the gestures. Why do we use gestures? What's this? Okay, what's this? Okay, very good. So by combining the gestures with the language, we're helping the vocabulary enter the student's memory. And later on, we can use just the gesture and students can automatically reply. Right? So we must always use gestures. Never forget gestures. It's the key. Okay, so I mentioned earlier about the quality of the vocabulary learning. You use flashcards, you already told me this, okay? But to get the quality of the learning, so the students are not parrots, this is where we use our extension activities, right? So they're using the vocabulary in meaningful ways. And on the screen here, I've put a variety of different extension activities for you. Okay? There are many different ones. So we're not going to have time to do all of them today, but just to give you a couple of examples. Okay, let's see. For example, we can do step away lines. flashcards, and I've seen some of the videos from the US where you might already do this, but we use the flashcards on the floor, and we get students to work in different ways with the flashcards. So for example, with step away lines, I might have a flashcard on the floor here. I've got my flashcards, these are my emotions flashcards. And I have a student on each side. So, in step away lines, we start close to the flashcard. The teacher says go. We take a step back, okay, and then we say the language. For example, I'm sad. Okay. Another step, a bit louder. I'm sad. Another step, a bit louder. I'm sad. Final step. I'm sad. Right, so we're stepping away from the flashcard, and the students are using the language. And do students like shouting? Yes, they do. Right, yeah. So we're using their energy to get them shouting at each other. Okay? You will have to demonstrate this a few times with the students. Okay? Matt. Okay, so step away lines is an approach that you can use. We also have step along lines. Step along lines, right? Okay, so I'm going to take, would you gentlemen help me out? We'll just take a second. Okay, so we're going to do step along lines. My same flashcard tools here. I'm going to have a gentleman on each side. Excuse me, fellas. Okay, we're going to start here. Okay? So the technique is very simple. One side asks the question, the other side answers, and then step along. Right? So I know today we're using full sentences, but this is just to illustrate activity. So you might ask, and you would say, excellent. Did you see him use the gesture? I've controlled him already. Okay, so let's just try one more. Here we go. Okay, ask and answer. I'm sad. How are you? I'm happy. How are you? I'm tired. How are you? I'm angry. Okay, stay there, please. Stay there. Give them a round of applause. Now, you have about 18 students in your class, right? So you're going to have to line them up in pairs, and off they go. When they get to the end, what do? They can circle back. Or if you're in a smaller class, or another variation is now, you come back and you ask the question and you answer. Let's do it. In this case, I'm going to bring back your how are you?
I'm angry.
How are you?
I'm tired.
How are you?
I'm happy.
How are you?
I'm sad.
I think they're all. Now, what do you notice? We've started the students on the road working with each other, looking at each other, communicating with each other. There's some meaning there, right? So, how are you? I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. I'm happy, I'm happy, I'm happy. Okay? That's fine to begin to learn the language. But the quality of the interaction is where the students start to internalize and use. So that's where these activities come in very useful. Okay, so that's step along lines. It's very, very simple. It basically works like this. And you can combine it with any kind of Q&A grammar. What are these? They're crayons. What are these? They're books, etc. Now, depending on the size of your class, you may also have step around lines. So step around lines, we do the same thing. Ask and answer. This side is asking the question. Ask and answer. Get to the end. Step around. Okay. Now I'm answering as I go down. Okay. Now with very young learners, you have to really control them carefully. Okay. So you might have to hold hands, step them along. If they're not using the language, you can't stop in a student class of 18 students. So if they're doing their best, that's fine. Right. So But these are the kinds of techniques that we can use. And there are many, many different examples. For example, let's choose another one. Okay. A student-made game. A student-made game. So, what can you see on the screen? What do you think this is? Is it a snake? Dragon? Yep, it's a PowerPoint, I guess. Okay, so what is this? This is a game. So let's imagine that we've practiced the emotions. Okay, and I want the students to practice in a different way. For their homework, I might just give them a piece of paper with a circle, and they draw their emotion in the circle. Then when they come to class, I have a long rope or piece of string or tape on the floor, and the students put their piece of paper along the tape, or I put it on the tape for them. And now they've got their own activity that they've made, and it's randomized, right? Using their own artwork. So these kinds of simple things require a bit of management, but you can do these activities in the classroom to switch it up a little bit and to give students the extra practice that they need. Another example might be something like a distraction drill. So at the US, I believe you have a lot of materials to work with in the classroom, I think. Okay, so my classroom kit. Classroom kit with me. Okay, for very young learners. Okay. And in a distraction drill, I might have something like blocks. Okay, so these are soft, big dice. Okay. Do you use dice? Yeah. Okay, with the little ones, can you use small dice? Choking hazard, right? So with very small children, you have to adjust your mindset. So we're using bigger dice. But with this idea, with a distraction drill, the idea with a distraction drill is I want the students not to think about the language. I want them to think about something else. For example, I have 3 blocks here. I put the students in groups of 3 or 4, and they have to build a tower. And as they put the blocks up, they use the language. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm angry. Finished. Or I'm happy. I'm angry. I'm sad. Finished. So anyway, using that natural energy that the kids have, give them space. Give them space. So these, again, simple techniques where the students are using the language in interesting ways. Okay. Probably one of the classic activities, a chain drill. Okay, you have the students sitting in rows. Small kids can't sit down for very long. But if you make it a race, okay, they can sit down, they can do a simple chain drill. So I might have my vocabulary card, I give it to the first student. What's this? Or what color is this? It's blue. I give it to her. She turns around, she gives it to the next student. She asks the question, the student answers. Flashcard goes to the back as quickly as possible, to the front as quickly as possible, and the first team to complete wins the game. So, using the flashcards, the students are very tactile. They need lots of little things to do with their hands. Now, what I'll do is I will share this PowerPoint with you, and I'll include some very brief bullet point instructions for the activities, so you can take a look at them in your own time. Okay, so we'll do this one. Okay, 4 students? Do you mind?
Brian.
Oh, Brian.
Right.
Okay.
You, and we'll have you. Green dress, let's go.
Okay, so come to the front.
You're missing one.
You've been pressed.
Green dress.
So I'm going to give my students some flashcards here. This is called hop and say. So I'm going to ask you to bunch up in a line here. Right next to each other. So here. Okay? And I'm going to give each student a flashcard. Okay, great. You're welcome. So you can look at your flashcard. Okay? And what do we have here? Let's see. Okay, can you show everybody? So, balloon. A doll. This is a book. Okay, book and eraser. Okay, so hop and say. I'm the teacher. I've got my students in a row. I'm going to say the word, and the student who has the flashcard, you have to hop towards me. Okay? All right. And when they hop, they say the word, and then we all say the word together. All right? So let's try it. Okay, here we go. Book. Book. Eraser. Eraser. Doll. Book. Balloon. Eraser. Book. Doll. Balloon. Eraser. You get the idea. Okay, cool. Okay, so. Okay, so.
Matt, you're slacking off. The audience wants their stickers. Okay. Go Matt. Okay. Right. So, the main takeaway from this is, I hope, the idea of repetition and drilling is very, very valuable, even with very small children. But a high tempo, okay, variation, teacher, student, student, teacher, okay, then the grammar or the sentence structure, and if you're going to teach a question, that comes at the end. But then the quality comes from the activities that you do afterwards. And wherever possible, you want the students working with each other. Now, with very young children, that can be very difficult. Okay? But if we can help them to use the language, that's a good start, and it becomes automatic for them. So that was vocabulary, the idea of individual words up to chunks of the language, and the students using the language. That's what we really want. What we also want to do is use other techniques to cement the language, to help the language stick, to practice the language in different ways, and that's where we might use something like a story. So, we're going to look at the story, and this is a story from Little Blue Dot Level 1, and it's called I'm Hungry, and it focuses on Spark and Ash, right? Now the language is there. Are we expecting the students to read the language? No, not at this age. The language is a support for the teacher, it's visual input for the students. The main thing is telling the story. Stories are a wonderful way of practicing language, engaging students in the class, getting them to engage with you as the teacher. So stories are throughout Little Blue Dot. They're on the classroom presentation tool, so you can play them on the screen with audio. You can also download them, or you can tell the story yourself using the book if you want. And once again, the academic team of the US provide you with a lesson plan for every stage of this lesson, including ideas for each stage of the lesson. Because storytelling The secret to storytelling is planning and step-by-step approach. Okay? You really shouldn't walk into a classroom, flop open the book, and tell the story. If you want the story to be effective, you've got to plan it step by step. What are you going to do? What resources do you need? And what is your role at each step? Now, I've become very serious, but that's because it's easy to misuse stories. They're not a time filler. They're a real language learning opportunity, which you can enjoy as much as the students. So, we're going to take a look at that, and we're going to look specifically at the story section here. And as I mentioned just a minute ago, when we do the story, your VUS lesson plan has ideas for activities like picture books, questions you can ask and elicit from the students. You won't always get an answer, okay? So lots of different ideas which you can do with the students. And there is also a video. And with a video, best practice with video and language teaching is to use multiple times. So first time, play the video without sound. Students just watch. Visual input. Second time, maybe with the sound, students watch and listen. Third time, play again, pause, and students repeat. So because you're using video, students tend to be fascinated by video, right? Okay? So using video for language teaching is a multi-step process. We won't do it today, but just to give you a 10-second example of the kind of story video that we have, here's the story.
I'm hungry.
Hello, Ash! Hello, Spark. How are you? I'm hungry. Ooh, an apple! Huh? That's better. I'm happy now. I'm not happy.
Okay, I know you want to see to the end. Nothing dramatic happens, it's a children's book, okay? Alright, so, but you can see the story here. The videos are kind of beautiful and they're nicely animated, so we can make good use of them. You also have an audio recording which you can use with the book or the classroom presentation tool, and as I mentioned, from your team, you have post-watching activities, so these are all provided for you again in your lesson plan. So everything you need to lesson plan will be provided for you, but the reason I'm here today is to encourage you to think about what else can we do when we use a story, right? The bones are there, that is a very solid lesson with the story, but the genius and the fun of being a young kids teacher is thinking about how we can adapt, how we can shake it up a little bit. So, what I want to talk about is what else can we do with stories? So, thinking about that lesson plan, there are multiple opportunities for you to inject different activities into the story. So one thing we can try and do is generate interest. Okay? So, before we use the story, we want to generate interest. I'll give you 1 minute on your table. How could you get very young kids interested and focused on you so they're ready for the story? 1 minute? Just discuss. What do you think?
lots of great ideas, okay? So there's a ton of good ideas that you can use, but the most important thing is the willpower to do it, right? And that makes the difference. So let me give you an example. I haven't shown the story yet, but I'm ready to be the storyteller, okay? So this is where prompts to generate interest come in really handy. Are you ready for a story? Yes. I'm not ready. Just a moment. Okay, now I'm ready for my story. Now, if you don't like hats, anything will do. For example, you might want to be a rabbit. It doesn't really matter. But you want to be consistent. When the students see my storytelling hat, they know it's storytelling. Consistency is key. Some of the students will immediately sit down and cry. How do I feel about this? In front of you guys, a little bit self-conscious. But with the kids, what I want is to get ready for storytime. What else can I do? Would you like to see inside my bag? Okay, I have a friend here. Do you like friends? Okay, good. My friend's name is Spark, and he's very shy. Would you like to meet Spark? Okay, and you say, come out, Spark. Come out, Spark. I can't hear you. Come out, Spark. Come out, Spark. Sorry, he's really shy. One more time. Okay, so this is Spark, right? Hi, Spark. How are you? He's tired. Can you say that? He's tired. So, Spark, I want you to listen to the story. So, Spark. Alright. Sleep, Spark. Okay. What else can I do? Reality, real things. Now I've looked at the story. I know what's coming. Would you like to see? Let's see what might be the story. What do I have? Very good. What else do I have? A small banana. Okay, and one more thing. And also, I have a bottle of water. Good. So now I've got the students' attention. I've got your attention. And you've got theirs. Not complicated, but I've got the students' attention. And now they're thinking about what's in the story. So then we can watch the story together. Do they see these things? Yes or no? We can explore that. In this story, there are no oranges and no bananas. That doesn't matter. When they're thinking about the story, focusing on the story and exploring what's in it. So setting up the story like this, generating interest is really key. Okay. Next one. Make it an immersive experience. An immersive experience. How would we do that? So in the story we just had, where were they? Maybe they were in a park or a forest. Okay? So when we make the story immersive, the students don't just listen to the story, they live the story. So at the end, they're going to do a role play. Okay? And we want to give them lots of chances to speak and to interact with the story so they're ready for the role play. If they just listen, they won't be ready for the role play. So how can we do that? For example, if they're in a park, I can take some students and I can ask them to be a tree. You be a tree, and you be a tree, and you be a tree. I've got students here like a tree. And I can take one student
with spark. Okay? And we can walk through the forest together. And all the other students follow me as we walk through the forest. So I'm making the story come alive for the students. I'm making it immersive. If there is a cave, students can crawl under a chair into the cave. I'm not going to do that. So think about these immersive moments to help bring the story alive, because it's really, really key. So also involve the students. So when we use a story, we involve the students. Here's my story. You can see I've got apples, but I don't have oranges and I don't have bananas. But I can involve the students by asking them questions and getting them to answer. Can you see spark? Oh, shy students. Can you see spark? Yes. Can you point to spark? What color is spark? Red. Where is ash? Point at ash. What color is ash? Yellow. Okay. Now, the students maybe don't know all this language, but I'm trying to get them immersed, and we're practicing the language sometimes that we've used in the unit groups. So that feeling of immersion, Q&A, interacting with the images is really, really important. Pointing and saying, for example. We've already talked about realia, okay? I'm staying at a hotel. They are missing some fruit from the breakfast display. Okay? So I brought my realia with me today. Always look for these opportunities. Okay? It doesn't have to be the best, the most beautiful. But students, if they touch, they enjoy. Pass around the apple, pass around the banana. Those kinds of things. And finally, extension. So after the story, what can you do? Language learning doesn't finish with a story. There's always more we can do. So simple ideas include picture sequencing. So you can photocopy the story, cut it up, students listen and put it in the correct order. Or point, listen and point. Role-playing a scene. Now I know at VUS, the role play is the culmination of the story unit. That's what you're working up to. Now with very small children, we need to keep our, what's the word? We need to be realistic. Okay? They're different to primary and secondary. They don't immediately have the language to do a whole role play. And that's why we go very step by step to give them the best chance to succeed in the role play at the end. If you just tell the story, your role play is likely to fail. And nobody likes failing in the classroom. So that's why you have this step-by-step approach, building up using the languages, which is awesome. Story walk. You could walk the students around the room, put flashcards around the room. They walk from place to place, or flashcard to flashcard, saying the language from the story. And find the panel. This one you can play the audio from the CD, not the CD, I'm old-fashioned. The MP3, and students listen. So lots of simple activities that you can do to extend the story. It's very hot with this 100% synthetic hat. So I hope from that brief look at stories you can see that it's not just a process, it's a step-by-step plan. And as we finish off today, I do just want to touch on puppets. Okay? Raise your hand if you actively use puppets in your classroom. Don't be embarrassed. Okay. So if you're going to work with very young learners, puppets are an important part of your toolkit for engaging these students. And I must encourage you not to be shy about using puppets. If you want the students to work with you, puppets are a great way to do it. So this is Spark, but I know at the US you have a lot of different tools you can use, and actually, any puppet is good.
puppets are not just a visual tool. And if you do nothing else today, I recommend you look at puppets using video or puppets on YouTube in the ELT. So I've got Spark. What can I do with Spark? Well, he's not just to engage the students. Puppets can have all these different effects in the classroom. Classroom management. Spark is shy. He's not going to come out till everyone's quiet. Can you be quiet? Students, if it's Spark or a puppet, they get very emotionally involved. So Spark is ready to play now. Okay, he's ready to play with you because you were quiet. You were good kids. We could use them to teach language. Okay, so a big decision with puppets. Do you have a talking puppet or a silent puppet? Depends on the puppet. Okay, so I might say, I'm Ollie. I'm Spark. Now kids, they don't see me talking. They think it's Spark. They're 3, 4, 5 years old. For them, Spark is a living, breathing character who they can play with. Right? So you can use this to your advantage. They can also bring humor to the classroom. They can change the atmosphere of the classroom. We want a classroom which is welcoming, where students are ready to succeed, to learn language. Okay? For example, if I have a troublesome student or a student who's upset, I might give them Spark. You come to Spark. Okay. All right. We've lost him now. He's not coming back. Okay. Yeah. So you can use your very gently use your puppet to calm down an excited student. Okay. To excite a sad student. There's many different ways of doing this. And I think my final word on puppets is, this will be in the handout. Okay. You can use them for teaching language. You can read this. Vocabulary, words, modeling drills, being a target for the language. I don't need a language partner. I can speak to Spark. How are you? How are you? So Spark is my partner. Songs and chants, creativity, checking language. If I have Spark, may I have Spark? You feeling okay? Don't get angry now. Take it away. Okay. So if I have Spark and I'm teaching something with the students like vocabulary or grammar, vocabulary. If the student's pronunciation is not quite right, what can I do? I can use the puppet to give a signal something's not quite right. And then I can say, oh, do it again, and I can correct the pronunciation. So Spark is like an assistant teacher for me to help correct the students. And if Spark does that, student doesn't feel mad, they don't feel threatened, they don't feel upset. Spark is their friend. So, all different ways we can use puppets. As a bonus, is one more text-based class. Okay. So this will be in your handout. And just think of those puppets. Puppets are worth gold for very young learners. Okay, so please don't hesitate to use them. Learn from your colleagues. Observe classes with puppets, videos, etc. because they're super valuable. Okay, so we've come to the end of our time. And what I'm going to do with you is I'm just going to give you a minute or 2 minutes to think about what we've done today. But I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different way. Okay? So you need a pen. Can you show me your pen? Okay? Always show rather than tell. Okay, great, you've got a pen. On your table you have your Oxford notebook and maybe there's some extra paper. Okay? What I'd like you to do is we're going to do something called 5-fingered feedback. Alright? And what I want you to do is trace your hand on a piece of paper. So put your hand on the paper, trace your hand, any piece of paper, that's good, trace your hand, you can use a big piece of paper, alright, quick as you can, trace your hand,
Excellent, good. When you've finished, hold your paper up so I can see. When you've finished tracing, show me your paper. Keep your hands up. I need to make sure everyone's nearly there. Tracing, 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 tracing. Very good. Stephen.
And
excellent. Good. Okay.
Just
so
think of those
what
puppets.
I want
Puppets
to
are
do. I'm
worth
just gonna give you
gold
1 minute
for
reflection
very
time.
young
Paper down.
Okay, so please
And
don't
here's what I want
hesitate to
do.
use them.
I
Learn
have
from
some
your
questions
colleagues,
for you.
observe classes
I want
with
you to write a
puppets,
sentence
videos, etc.
in
because they're
each
super
finger.
valuable.
Right?
Okay, so we've come
1
to the
3.
end of our time.
Anything new you learned today? Okay, and then 4 and 5.
I'm just going to give you a minute
something you
or
want to
2
try in
minutes
class,
to think about
something
what
to
we've done
learn
today.
more about.
But I'm going
And
to do it in a
number
little bit of a
6,
different
everybody,
way.
look at me.
Okay, so you need
Number
a
6
pen.
is in the
Can you show me your
palm.
pen?
What
Okay.
were your 2 goals
Always
today?
show rather
And
than
did you
tell.
achieve
Okay, great, you've got a pen. On your table, you have your Oxford notebook, and maybe there's some extra paper, okay? What I'd like you to do is we're going to do something called 5-fingered feedback, all right? And what I want you to do is trace your hand on a piece of paper. So put your hand on the paper, trace your hand.
Follow the numbers on the screen. The
Any
numbers
piece of
will
paper.
guide you on what you need to think
That's
about.
good. Trace your hand. You can use a big piece of paper. All right. Quick as you can. Trace your hand. Excellent. Good. When you've finished, hold your paper up so I can see. When you've finished tracing, show me your paper. Keep your hands up. I need to make sure everyone's nearly there. Tracing, 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 tracing. Very good. Stephen. Excellent. Good. Okay. So here's what I want you to do. I'm just going to give you 1 minute reflection time. Paper down. And here's what I want you to do. I have some questions for you. I want you to write a sentence
So if I have
on each
Scott,
finger.
and I'm teaching something to the students like
1
vocabulary
to
or
3.
grammar,
Anything
vocabulary.
new you
If the
learned
student's
today.
vocabulary, if the student's pronunciation is not quite right, what can I do?
4 and
I
5.
can use the puppet to give a signal.
Something you want to try in
Something's not
class.
quite right.
Something
And I
to
can say,
learn more about.
"Oh,
And
Do
number
it again,
6,
and I
everybody.
can correct the pronunciation. So Spark is like
6
a
is
assistant
in
teacher
your
for me
palm.
to help correct
What
the
were your
students.
2
And if
goals
Spark
today?
does that,
And did you
the
achieve
student doesn't feel
this?
mad, they don't feel
Just
threatened,
give
they
you
don't
1
feel
minute or
upset.
2 minutes.
Spark is different. So, all different ways that you can use puppets. As a bonus, is one more text exercise. Okay. So this will be in your handout.
And just think of those puppets. Puppets are worth gold with very young learners. Okay, so please don't hesitate to use them. Learn from your colleagues. Observe classes with puppets, videos, etc. because they're super valuable. Okay, so we've come to the end of our time. And what I'm going to do with you is I'm just going to give you a minute or 2 minutes to think about what we've done today. But I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different way. Okay? So you need a pen. Can you show me your pen? Okay? Always show rather than tell. Okay, great, you've got a pen. On your table you have your Oxford notebook, and maybe there's some extra paper. Okay? What I'd like you to do is we're going to do something called 5-fingered feedback. Alright? And what I want you to do is trace your hand on a piece of paper. So put your hand on the paper, trace your hand, any piece of paper. That's good. Trace your hand. You can use a big piece of paper. Alright? Quick as you can, trace your hand. Excellent, good. When you've finished, hold your paper up so I can see. When you've finished tracing, show me your paper. Keep your hands up. I need to make sure everyone's in there. Tracing, 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 tracing. Very good. Stephen, excellent, good. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I'm just going to give you 1 minute reflection time. Paper down. what I want you to do. I have some questions for you. I want you to write a sentence in each finger. Right? 1 to 3, anything new you learned today. Okay? And then 4 and 5, something you want to try in class, something to learn more about. And number 6, everybody, look at me. Thank you. Number 6 is in the palm. What were your 2 goals today? And did you achieve your goals? Just give you 1 minute or 2 minutes. Please begin.
Okay, so you should be writing with. Okay, follow the numbers on the screen. The numbers will guide you on what you need to think about.
Máy quay thôi, không phải là máy chụp. Tại vì mấy cái máy nhỏ đó là người chụp hình, người quay phim, còn mấy cái máy lớn thì chỉ quay thôi.
You're nearly done. Just 30 seconds more. See if you can complete everything. And when you've finished, just turn to your partner and share what you wrote. Yeah, just share with your partner when it's done. hand if you learned something new today. Don't feel group pressure. Okay, so it looks as though people learned something new. I'm not going to explore the course with everybody, we've got 70 people here, but one of the things that we believe at Oxford is these times together are really precious, but it's what you do next that counts. Okay? It's very common for anybody to walk out and to be too busy to put this stuff into practice. Right? If you want to be, and you are, professionals, try something new that you learned, adapt it. It might fail, change it, okay? But make sure that you have a go at some of these new ideas so that you put them into practice. Did anyone have something you want to learn more about from today? What was it? Anyone? Yes? Transition chants, yeah, thank you, transition chants. Transition chants, does anyone remember the chants this morning? Okay, all right, so, transition, I can't speak transition chants. Sound like Sean Connery. Okay, so, there are multiple different transition chants. We looked at Let's Make a Circle. Okay, there's also It's Time for Us to Go. Pencil, please. Okay, so this is a good one. If you have kids working together, pencil, please, here you are. Pencil, please, here you are. Pencil, please, here you are. Thank you very much. Should we try it together? Okay, get your pencil. Show me your pencil. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pencil, please, here you are. Pencil, please, here you are. Pencil, please, here you are. Thank you very much. Okay, and then bonus, final one for today is open your books. So very simple. Open your books, please. Open your books. Turn to page 21. Open your books. Okay. Now I'm no opera singer, but the students know that's the open your books melody, right? So there are lots of different transitions. Alright, so raise your hand if you met your goals for today. Okay, I'd say this like about 80, 90%. If there were some goals that were unmet, please feel free to come and speak to me afterwards. And I'd be happy to see if I can set you on the right path. What I'm going to do now is I might have one or 2 minutes for questions. Is that okay? Okay. So if anybody has any questions about today you'd like to ask me, I'll do my best to answer. But please bear in mind I have not been in your classes. Does anyone have a question for today? Alright, so in my experience, 100 teachers in a room, no questions, either means that was the world's best workshop ever, or you don't want to ask me a question in front of other people. Okay? I will be here at the end. Feel free to come and ask me questions if you like. Well, I didn't say you're all going to win a prize, I said I'd sort out the prizes. But for everybody else, on behalf of Oxford University Press, thank you very much to everybody who participated. It's a real pleasure partnering up with everybody in the US, and I hope you enjoy using Little Blue Dot. There's a lot of excitement there, a lot of professional teachers here. I think that's a great combination. I'm going to hand over to Stephen for closing words. Thank you everybody. Goodbye. Enjoy your classes.